In the stillness of the evening, as the warm, golden light of the hearth danced along the wooden beams of a Viking longhouse, the Norse people prepared for what modern science now regards as one of the most restorative sleep routines in history. While we in the 21st century wrestle with insomnia, sleep disorders, and the relentless glow of screens, the inhabitants of Viking Age Scandinavia, 793 to 1066 E, embraced a relationship with rest that was both intentional and deeply in harmony with nature. It might seem surprising that a society known for its daring raids and fierce battles could also excel in the art of restful sleep. Yet, evidence reveals that the Norse people enjoyed conditions and habits that promoted exceptional rest. Their daily routines, sleeping arrangements, diet, and even their philosophical outlook on rest all contributed to a quality of sleep that modern experts recommend to combat today's sleep deprivation epidemic. Archaeological discoveries from Scandinavia, Iceland, and Norse settlements in the British Isles, along with sagas and historical texts, paint a picture of a culture perfectly in sync with natural rhythms. Unlike today's artificial environments, Viking Age sleep was seamlessly aligned with the cycles of the sun and the seasons, creating an optimal environment for rejuvenation. Their holistic approach to rest, integrating environmental factors, communal living, and mindfulness, offers a blueprint for reclaiming better sleep in our modern, restless age. The modern fixation on getting a solid 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep is a relatively recent phenomenon. In contrast, the Vikings embraced sleep patterns that naturally aligned with their environment, their physical needs, and the demands of their culture. This article delves into the many reasons why Viking sleep practices might rank among the most effective in human history. We'll explore how their biphasic sleep patterns were in harmony with natural human rhythms, how their living conditions supported deeper rest, and how their cultural attitudes fostered healthier sleep habits than many later societies achieved. By examining these practices, we not only uncover fascinating historical details, but also gain valuable insights into how we might address our modern struggles with sleep. As we journey into the sleeping habits of the Viking Age, we'll meet figures like Thorvald, a shipbuilder from coastal Norway, whose winter sleep routine sheds light on the cozy, efficient design of Norse sleeping quarters. We'll also learn about Astrid, a healer whose mastery of sleep-inducing herbs reflects the deep connection between Norse medicine and rest. Through these historical examples, we'll experience the rhythms and rituals that defined Viking sleep and discover how their approach was intricately tied to their environment and way of life. The evidence points to a compelling conclusion. Despite their reputation as fierce warriors and explorers, the Vikings may have been some of the most well-rested people in history. This balance of restorative sleep could have been a key factor in their extraordinary achievements in navigation, craftsmanship, and cultural influence. As we uncover these lessons from the Norse people, it becomes clear that we modern humans have much to learn from our Viking ancestors about the art of restful, harmonious sleep. The notion of 8 uninterrupted hours of sleep is a modern construct shaped by industrialization, artificial lighting, and regimented work schedules. Historical and archaeological evidence, along with references in Viking sagas, suggest that the Norse people, like many pre-industrial societies, practiced biphasic or segmented sleep, a pattern more in tune with natural human biology. Clues from Viking language and literature, the Old Norse language hints at this sleep pattern. Sagas often mention Firfinn, first sleep, and Oddfinn, second sleep, referencing a period of wakefulness in the middle of the night. Though these terms aren't universally present in the texts, they align with documented pre-industrial sleep habits throughout Europe. For example, in the Grethe Saga, the hero Grettir Asmundarson is described rising after his first sleep to handle household tasks before returning to rest. In the Egil Saga, characters wake during the night for conversations or business, only to sleep again until dawn. These accounts reflect a cultural norm where waking during the night was seen as natural rather than disruptive. Archaeological evidence of nocturnal activity findings for Viking settlements reinforce these literary clues. Excavations in Jorvik, modern-day York, England, a prominent Viking hub, reveal homes designed for nighttime activity. Central fire pits show signs of being maintained throughout the night, indicating periods of wakefulness were routine, got a natural sleep rhythm. A typical Viking sleep cycle likely mirrored other pre-industrial societies, particularly in northern climates with extended winter darkness. The pattern would look something like this. 1. First sleep. After sunset, the household would gather around the central hearth. A few hours later, they'd retire for their initial rest, lasting roughly 4 hours. 2. Midnight waking. Naturally waking after the first sleep, people might tend the fire, check on animals, converse quietly, or engage in simple tasks. This wakeful period, lasting 1 to 2 hours, was an accepted part of the night and not seen as a problem. 3. Second sleep. After this interlude, they'd return to bed, sleeping until dawn. Rethinking modern sleep, the Vikings' segmented sleep wasn't an anomaly, but a reflection of their environment and lifestyle. Unlike today's obsession with uninterrupted rest, their approach emphasized flexibility and alignment with natural rhythms. Understanding this historical sleep pattern offers us a chance to reconsider our modern struggles with rest and to embrace a more natural relationship with sleep, one that echoes the wisdom of the Norse people that in Viking Age Scandinavia. Sleep was more than just a nightly rest. It was a dynamic and adaptive practice shaped by environmental and cultural factors. Historical accounts, archaeological evidence, and modern sleep science reveal that the Norse people embraced a segmented sleep pattern known as biphasic sleep that was naturally aligned with human biology and the rhythms of their harsh northern environment. Imagine Bjorn Haraldson, a farmer from the Trondheim region of Norway. After sharing an evening meal and perhaps some storytelling around the fire, he would retreat to his sleeping platform as darkness enveloped the landscape, around 7 or 8 p.m. on a winter's night. After about 4 hours of deep rest, Bjorn would wake around midnight, add wood to the hearth, check on his livestock, drink some ale or water, and maybe discuss the next day's plans with family members who were also awake. After an hour or so, he'd return to bed for his second sleep, resting until dawn. This midnight waking period wasn't seen as unusual or problematic. Instead, it was a normal, even productive part of the night. Religious rituals, quiet tasks, or even visiting neighbors were common activities during this time. The archaeological evidence supports this lifestyle. Longhouses from Viking settlements, such as those excavated in Jorvik, modern-day York, show fire pits designed for maintenance throughout the night, indicating regular periods of nocturnal activity. Modern sleep science now acknowledges that biphasic sleep may be more natural than today's consolidated sleep schedules. Research by historian A. Roger Kirch, who unearthed countless historical references to segmented sleep, suggests that this pattern was common across pre-industrial societies. During the midnight wakefulness, the human body produces prolactin, a hormone linked to calmness and well-being, aligning perfectly with this rhythm. Additionally, the circadian cycle naturally includes a period of heightened alertness a few hours after sleep begins, fitting seamlessly into the segmented pattern. For the Vikings, this pattern was especially useful. In winter, when darkness could last up to 20 hours in some regions, attempting to sleep continuously would have been impractical. The midnight waking period allowed them to break the long night into manageable segments while completing essential tasks. Conversely, during summer's nightless nights, when daylight stretched to 20 hours or more, sleep was compressed into shorter windows. Sagas reference the challenges of sleeping during these bright periods, and the Havamal, a collection of Norse wisdom, offers advice on balancing rest. The unwise man lies awake all night, worrying about everything. When morning comes, he's worn out, and his troubles are just as they were. This reflects an awareness of sleep's importance and the need to adapt it to seasonal and personal circumstances. By embracing flexible sleep practices that suited their environment, the Vikings demonstrated a wisdom that modern society, with its sleep deprivation challenges, could benefit from rediscovering. During the long winter nights of Viking Age Scandinavia, sleep naturally extended to accommodate the dark hours, often retaining its biphasic nature. Archaeological evidence reveals that winter dwellings were ingeniously designed to conserve warmth and minimize fuel usage, creating an ideal environment for prolonged rest. Yet, the hours between first and second sleep were far from idle. This midnight period was a time of quiet activity, reflection, and connection. The sagas and archaeological findings suggest a variety of activities occupied these wakeful hours. Craftwork, for instance, was common. Tasks like tool repair, spinning thread, or other handcrafts, requiring concentration but minimal light, were suited to the hearth's glow. Artifacts from Viking settlements, such as spindle whorls and small tools, offer tangible evidence of this quiet productivity. Religious rituals may also have found their place in these liminal hours. Midnight, lying between one day and the next, held spiritual significance in many pre-Christian traditions. It's possible that certain ceremonies or acts of devotion occurred during this time, adding a sacred dimension to the night. Storytelling and knowledge sharing were integral parts of Viking culture, and the midnight hours likely provided a conducive atmosphere for such exchanges. The reflective state of mind brought on by this natural pause and rest may have enhanced the retention and transmission of sagas, oral histories, and practical wisdom. Intimacy also thrived in this private and relaxed interval between sleep phases. Darkness and the quiet of the night offered couples a natural opportunity for closeness, free from the distractions of the day. Security was another key consideration, especially in uncertain times. The midnight waking period provided an opportunity to check defenses, tend to livestock, or rotate guards, ensuring the community's safety without interrupting their overall rest. Consider Gudrun, a weaver from settlement near present-day Roskilde, Denmark. During her midnight waking period, she might sit by the hearth, spinning thread with focus and precision. This use of otherwise wasted time exemplified the Viking approach, balancing rest with productivity and making the most of every hour. Over time, however, the biphasic sleep pattern began to fade. The advent of artificial lighting, stricter schedules brought on by industrialization, and urbanization's regimentation of time compressed sleep into a single block. In doing so, modern societies may have sacrificed a natural rhythm that allowed earlier cultures, like the Vikings, to thrive, rested, productive, and in harmony with their environment.